Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm down at Hendrick Lexus Northlake and we're going to take a look at their 2022 Lexus IS 350 F Sport. So huge shout out to them for providing this sporty sedan for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. All that info is down in the description. But the 350 F Sport that you see behind me is finished off in infrared with a list price just under $48,000. Starting off today's review, we're going to look at what powers this IS 350 F Sport. Under the hood is the 3.5 liter V6 engine paired with the 8-speed automatic transmission. It pumps out 311 horsepower around 6,600 RPM and 280 pound-feet of torque around 4,800 RPM. This model is rear-wheel drive. It weighs in right around 3,700 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds up to its top speed of 143 miles an hour. And it has a fuel capacity of 17.4 gallons. You can expect the fuel economy to be 20 miles per gallon in the city and 28 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 110.2 inches. Its overall length is 185.4. It has a width of 72.4 and a height of 56.7 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this IS 350 F Sport, let's start off with the hourglass design for the grille. On this model, it's finished off in gloss black as well as the surround to give it a really nice contrast against this exterior red. The Lexus badge is also front and center, and it's also the forward-facing sensor, so it's nicely incorporated into that logo, so that way it doesn't break up the rest of this grille, which has a lot of cutouts to provide more cooling to this engine, as well as the functional air inlets on both sides in the lower corners. There's even more gloss black in the lower section of the bumper, just to tie it in nicely. This also has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals, and it's iconic for Lexus with this DRL to have a really nice point running from one side all the way to the other side. All the contoured lines that surround it just give it a really nice look. Even this indentation here that matches nicely with that DRL. There's some more gloss black trim pieces on both sides, as well as all the parking sensors, which are nicely incorporated. And the lines from the middle section of the hourglass also split up to the hood, going all the way back to the A-pillar, just to give it a really nice look. And then moving on to the side profile now, this has a really cool set of dark metallic 19-inch wheels. They have a multi-spoke design to them and just match really nicely with this exterior. The lower side skirt has even more gloss black, and these side mirrors even have a 3-color design, being body colored, gloss black, having the chrome trim piece as well as the incorporated turn signal. This model even has a sunroof, and then there's chrome trim surrounding the windows just to tie in nicely with it on the mirror. The F Sport badge is just behind the front tires, and then there's really nice lines running down the side. You can see one just in front of the back tire there, and a few lines running the height of the door handles. And then working our way to the rear end, this has a gloss black trunk mounted spoiler, give it more of a sporty design. This also has a backup camera with all the parking sensors, and it even has LED taillights, and the bar from the taillight housings actually go right through the middle of the trunk, just connecting them and giving it a really cool look. And then down in the lower diffuser, everything is gloss black with the dual exhaust. But now let's work our way to the rear cargo area. You can use the button that's up underneath the trunk lid, or just hold the button on the key fob and it will automatically release. From there, we can lift up this trunk and you'll see that there's a good amount of storage space with the back seats up. Plenty of room for any items you'd like to place back here, along with cutouts on the left side and the right side, so you can put in larger items sideways if you need to. You can even lift up this piece for the floorboard, where there's the spare tire along with some toolkits, a little bit of storage if you need to use it, so that's great to see. And then with the back seats folded down, there's a lot more storage for any items you'd like to place back here. On the back side of the trunk is one grab handle, so it's very easy to close that up. And now we can move on to the back seats. The door panel has a really nice two-tone design with this white leather as well as black just behind it. There's the release handle along with the window control and a trim piece, and then one of the speakers down in the lower section. And you'll notice that the seats have the same two-tone design, black and white. Really nice contrast against this exterior red. And at 5'10", I'll work my way into the back seats, where I do have the front seat set at my height. There's also some storage pockets behind both front seats. I do have plenty of room for my feet and my legs, and about an inch or so above my head, so it is a spacious seat. I could have 2 other people next to me and still be comfortable in the back. Right in the middle, there is an armrest as well as 2 cup holders in the front section of it. And then, like I mentioned, these seats do fold down in a 60-40 split. So from this angle, you can see just how much more space there is. And there's also 2 air vents right in the middle, so you do have some climates for your backseat passengers. And now we can move on to the front seats, where the door handle can be used to lock and unlock the vehicle. Obviously we have it unlocked at the moment. And we have that same two-tone design on the door panel with all the window controls, along with the side mirror adjustments, the grab handle, the release handle, as well as a little bit of storage down in the lower section of the door. F-Sport is also down on the door sill with this really nice brush trim piece surrounding it. And then moving on to the two-tone leather seats up front. These are heated and ventilated, really nice design running down the center, and they are all automatic, so all those adjustments are down on the side. And working our way to the front seats, this is a low car. The door sill is also very low, so it's easy to enter and exit. And the steering wheel also has a combination of solid and perforated leather, along with some gray stitching running along the inside. But let's start up this IS 350 now. With my foot on the brake, that button is over on this right side. We can bring this to life. And looking at the current setup for the gauge cluster, on the right side is the fuel gauge, on the left side is the engine temperature, and right in the middle is the large tach, as well as what gear you're in, miles per hour, and some data information just underneath that. Now you can shift that entire tach to the right just by pushing on this button over here, and you will see all of that information go to the left side of the screen. So currently it's on settings, where you can go through all of the technology features, being able to turn them on and off, adjust the sensitivity, and go through all of that very quickly. If I scroll over to information, there's more of that driving information that was located underneath miles per hour. So you can go through all of this just depending on what you'd like to see. The economy meter, G-force meter, you can see what gear you're in as well, and monitor the tire pressure. There's music, as well as the distance pacing. The last one is messages. So it's nice to have all of that pulled up in full screen or hidden away if you don't need to see it. Also, over on the right side of the steering wheel is the lane keeping assist, as well as the distance pacing. You have mode and volume controls on the left side, along with Bluetooth and voice commands. Cruise control is over on this right side. It's a really easy setup to use. And this also has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, finished off in a dark gray, along with the F-Sport badge down on the lower section. Over on the left side of the steering wheel is the trunk release, as well as the automatic headlights. There's a dimmer switch, as well as some other odometer gauges. There's also one air vent and some leather on the dash. And then right in the middle, we do have this screen that offers a good bit of information. In order to go through that system, all of those controls are down below, where there's home, menu, a back button, and the rotary dial. So if I click on home, this is the screen that you just saw, of course, with audio, your range, and then over on that right side is how you can pair your phone to this system. So if I go into menu now, you can look at audio, phone, apps. Projection is how you can pair your phone, obviously. You can go into the climate and quickly adjust all of those controls. And then just by clicking on the back button, you can come back to here, go into setup, and monitor all this information, just depending on what you'd like to set up and how you'd like it. So it's a really straightforward and easy system to use. There's two air vents just underneath that, along with a clock right in the middle. And then there's also physical buttons for the climate. On the passenger and driver side, there's a slider bar where you can see the temperature adjust. It will also show in the upper screen. Fan speed is right in the middle, along with recirc, where you'd like the air to go. We have the defrosters. You can also sync them as well. It's a really nice slider bar to be able to go through the temps. And then underneath that is power and volume for the radio, as well as tuning. A CD player is right in the middle, along with all of those controls. And then just underneath that is the heated and ventilated, even the heated steering wheel button, so you can adjust all of those very easily. And then moving on to the shifter with my foot on the brake, if I put it into reverse, the backup camera will appear with all the guidelines. And if I didn't mention it already, this is a touchscreen system, so you can quickly go through the guidelines just depending on what you'd like to see. Drive is going to be all the way into the back there. And if we pop it over, that allows you to shift using the shifter or the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. On the right side of that is the different driving modes. So if I twist it to the right, that puts it into sport mode, where you'll see the gauge cluster change. To the left, we'll put it into eco mode, and then just by pushing on it, we'll put it back into comfort. There's also a snow mode. You can adjust the traction control as well as the auto hold assist. And then behind that are two cup holders. We have that trackpad system for the center screen. The armrest is covered in leather, which is a great touch. There's also two USBs, an auxiliary, and even a 12 volt to charge any electronics. And then over on the glove box, definitely plenty of room for all that information. We'll take one last look at these seats, which have a great design to them. And then like I mentioned earlier, this does have a sunroof. So this has the manual adjusting sunshade along with all the sunroof controls. And then the touch sensitive dome lights are on both sides. So getting this 2022 Lexus IS 350 F Sport out on the road, this is a really cool sporty sedan from Lexus. The F Sport package gives you a lot of goodies like the wheels, all the badging obviously, even these seats, which are a really nice combo with this exterior res. So this is a nicely spec'd Lexus, and it gives you that luxurious feeling that Lexus is known for. So now that we have this out on the road, I'm gonna put it over into the manual setting. We're also going to twist this dial to put it into sport mode. Because we have these paddles, now this is not a loud vehicle. It sounds pretty good. It's not crazy fast, but it is very nice and performance oriented. We'll get it on some twisty roads here in just a little bit, but I really like the fact that we have that configurable tack right in the middle, so you can hide some information as I already showed, and just have that front and center. Gives it more of a sporty feel for this luxurious vehicle. And now we can give it a little bit of gas from second. The paddles are very responsive. Now, even though this is the F Sport, it's not crazy fast like I mentioned earlier, but these paddles, as soon as I tap that gear, I can see the number instantly change. So they are very responsive, which is great to see. And then obviously you can pop it back into a normal or eco mode if you'd like to, just to save on some MPG. So it just depends on how you'd like to drive this vehicle. But I do have it back in sport mode. As we come up to a sharp right, can downshift. And going at a pretty normal rate of speed, it handled that well, felt very solid around that turn. So it's nice that for the F Sport model, it does handle incredibly well. Even though it doesn't have a ton of horsepower for the weight of it, it's pretty adequate. It'll get up and move. And the handling is really where this excels. You can take turns. I have a lot of lateral support here. So as you could tell around that turn, I wasn't moving hardly at all. And then talking about this interior briefly, it's a really nice layout. I do believe that you can get a larger screen. So we have the smaller screen option in this model here, but you can go with, I think it's around a 12-inch screen if you want something a little bit bigger. However, it is nice that this is still a touchscreen system, which I know some previous Lexus models did not have. So I like the fact that this is touchscreen, makes it a little bit more user-friendly. And then all the controls underneath that are nicely laid out as well. And this is a very practical everyday sedan. We have the backseat room, the seats fold down too, just to make it that much more practical and give you a lot of interior and usable space. And now as we switch over to the POV angle, we'll put it back into sport mode, as well as being able to use these paddles. And you can see what it's like to be behind the wheel of this 350 F Sport. Definitely a nice interior. And it's also a very comfortable and quiet vehicle. There's no road noise, wind noise. Lexus makes very comfortable daily driving vehicles. So obviously you can put a lot of seat time behind the wheel of this. Even in sport mode too. It's absorbing all these bumps very well. If I push on this dial, we can put it into a normal mode again. Definitely a very nice place to be. And again, not loud with that exhaust, so you don't have to worry about it being a crazy loud daily driving sedan. And we do have the radar cruise, so just by activating it with that toggle there, I can use this adjustment to further my speed. And then we have the distance control right here. So if I put it to the farthest one, the vehicle is now coming to a stop by itself. And then obviously with the vehicle turning, it will lose track of that, so I need to take over from here. But it is an easy system to use just with the stalk down below, so I really like that. And then as far as visibility goes, looking over this shoulder, really easy to see out. And then looking over my left shoulder, it's easy to see out of that glass. So visibility is very easy, although even the A-pillars are very thin as well. So it feels very open, even with the sunroof, of course, which I can close. But now that we're all the way up into 8th gear, I will set the radar cruise again with a push of 2 buttons. It is that easy. And like I mentioned, we do have the steering assist, which is currently activated now. It will help guide you around turns, keep you in the center of the lane, which is some nice technology to have, along with everything else that is configurable. So this is a great daily. I hope you enjoyed today's review, checking out this 2022 Lexus IS 350 F Sport. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick Lexus Northlake for providing this vehicle for me today. Make sure you check out their website. All that info is down in the description. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.